Bold yet blissful, beautiful yet bombastic, boastful yet ballistic, but never boring. This is the Stingerbee from Newbee Drone. Allow me to introduce to you the newest member of the Squadding Quads fleet. This is a 3-inch quad, meaning it uses 3-inch props. If you're in America, you don't even need remote ID when you're flying this recreationally, because despite the fact that it has an O3 air unit, GPS, and no props in frame, this thing comes in at 226 grams, including the battery. Let me run you through some details of the spec of how I have built this particular example of this. So I've gone with the same size motors that Newbee Drone have used on the official build, which are 1404. Newbee Drone used 4000 kV motors and I've used 3850, as close to 4000 as you possibly can get. But I wanted RC in power motors for this particular build. So the KV is slightly off the bind and fly that you would buy off the shelf, but the reality is it's no different. In this review I've also used a normal strap as opposed to the TPU thing that Newbee Drone provide. I'm sure that's absolutely fine, but I prefer to use a normal. And Newbee Drone use a AIO as far as I'm aware, whereas I've used a stack. So I'm sure there are weight savings to be made. However, like I say, this comes in at under 230 grams with a GPS, with a receiver, with a stack, with an O3, with a ND filter, and with a memory card. I am going to add a beeper to it, which is 4 grams, and that is purely because I had an issue with my goggles, which I will talk about in another video. So the build is dead easy. Essentially, you put the 2 arms together on the bottom plate, screw in the standoffs, put your stack in, put your O3 in. Now the O3 uses an adapter which I've never seen before, but Newbee Drone do sell it for about £7, or I would imagine about $10 if you're in America. And what that does is that mounts directly to your O3, and then your O3, then the mount mounts directly to the frame. So it lifts the O3 off the frame a little bit, but also it makes it so much easier to mount. I'm going to look at adding this particular mount to every single quad I've got that's got a 20, I think it's 25 by 25 mounting pattern, or is it 20 by 20? I think it's 20 by 20 actually, just ignore me. I probably should research before I make videos. Where is the fun in that? So that's the build covered. Let's head over to the field and have a look at the initial flight before any work had been done to tune.
So we are here at the field with the Newbee Drone Stingerbee, and this is our inaugural test flight. And it lifts off the ground at about 15-20%, well, about 15% throttle. And it flies really well. For the first flight ever, this is super smooth. I haven't done any tuning on it yet. It's super responsive. Now I've got to be careful because it's been raining here all day, and what I don't want to do is for the rain to start again. So I may be flying it too hard for what they are, I don't know, but the battery is almost dead. I don't know how long we've been flying for. Oh, 2 minutes and 20 seconds. I suppose that's okay for a 3-inch, and we are beating it quite hard. See, what I would like to do is a nice little cinematic swoop around the field. It just wants to go. It really does just want to go. There really is no sort of airs or graces about it. It just wants to punch you in the face as hard as it possibly can and scream, "Sting me some more, baby." So I did.
So before we go into some more footage, let's have a quick look at some good and bad points about this build. So the first point I raised was you can fly without remote ID if you are based in the good old United States of America with this quad. It's sub 250, so you can fly it over and you can fly it near people. And I'm going to demonstrate that in the next clip I show where I fly it around a park. Because it's a dead cat frame, there are no props in view, and the question is 3-inch the new 5-inch? You get over 5 minutes flight time if you're just flying around chilling cinematically. It's really, really easy to build. It's got that amazing O3 spacer holder, and it's just 226 grams with a 4S LIHV 660 pack, or 230 grams with a beeper GPS stack at O3. This thing is literally a pocket rocket. There are a few bad points about this particular build, although I have to admit most of the points that I raise here are going to apply to all 3-inch quads. To keep it under 250 grams, the size of battery you can use is limited. You can't use lithium ion packs due to weight, and if you fly it really hard and thrash the pants off it, you'll get less than potentially 2 minutes flight time. While I'm listing that as negatives for this particular review, like I say, that pretty much will encompass the majority of 3-inch drones in this particular bracket. So let's cut to a little bit of narrated footage again from the park this time, and this is after we've done a little bit of PID tuning. So let's take a look at the footage.
Okay, so we are flying at the park with the Newbee Drone 3. Wow, this thing is so fast. So what we're going to do is we're just going to do what a newbie would do. We're just going to fly around in a circle and just see how it copes. We have got some PID tuning going on, and we have got some settings updated for the O3 to make the O3 look a little bit more beautiful. But we are just chilling. We are just flying and chilling, and that is ultimately where we all want to be. We all want to be flying and we all want to be chilling. And this Newbee drone does that so well. Now, we've done one lap low, so let's build some altitude and fly it nice and high. It is so easy to fly. The winds are quite gusty this morning. So I was a little bit worried about how well it would perform. Oh, telemetry lost. Telemetry recovered. Yeah, I was a little bit worried about how well it would perform, considering the winds are quite windy. I mean, that is what winds do, isn't it? But actually, it's just genuinely so easy to fly. And obviously with it being sub 250, we can fly it around people. Oh, nearly hit that bird. We can fly it around people, can fly it over people, and it's quite quiet as well, so generally speaking, nobody, I don't think, has actually noticed the drone is in the air just yet. I think I need to tighten up the gimbals. The gimbals are quite loose for my liking, to be honest, but that doesn't make it bad. Quite the opposite, actually. Yeah.
Can you get me the top off that?
At that point I was interrupted by a gentleman. My spotter had turned around for a second and a gentleman had walked up to me and ignored the spotter and asked me to open his bottle of whiskey for him. Now, we all have vices, we all have issues in this world, so I'm not one to judge. So despite the fact it was incredibly early in the morning, I opened his bottle of whiskey for him. If we look back at that footage, you can actually see a couple of times there was a person on the path that I didn't go massively near to, but if you was that close to that person with a 5-inch, they would have absolutely have turned around and wondered whether the Ukraine, Russia or Iran was attacking them with a drone. Whereas with this 3-inch, Nobody even turned around, nobody even batted an eyelid. So the final bit of on-location filming before we come back to the studio to discuss whether or not you should buy it is going to be with Jedi FPV. We put a mic on him and we let him fly it. To confirm, Jedi FPV has only ever flown the DJI FPV and a 5-inch, and he's only done about 10 flights of his 5-inch, so he's the archetypal newbie, if you like. Would Jedi FPV be able to fly it? The only caveat to this test, I forgot to tell him, is that my rates are double his. However, what I did do is I added loads of expo, so in the middle of the stick it felt exactly the same for him as his quad would do. But on the end of the stick he did a few overshoots, which is, you know, totally normal. I should have perhaps warned him, or not. So let's again cut to the flying field for the last time and have a look and a listen to what Jedi FPV thought of this Newbee Drone Stingerbee.
Oh, that sounds nice. Are we good? Oh, Dan. Oh, wow.
How locked is that?
This is the only second proper FPV I've flown. Yeah. That's beautiful. That is.
So what I said, when you go to depth or a little bit higher, fall rate,
Yeah, I've just figured that out. Nearly it touched the ground.
yeah.
Are the rates the same?
My rates are a lot higher.
I've just figured that out as well.
However, yeah, I should have warned you. However, the middle of the stick,
Yeah.
I've set it so that you can find it exactly the same as yours. With the end of the stick, it's nearly twice as fast.
That's where it was like going towards the ground. But these goggles are something else as well. Yeah, them rates are a little bit too high for me.
Are they?
I'm on.
If you stay near the middle of the stick.
I'm on 3.7.
You're okay for it.
Yeah.
Do you cover quite well? You got under the tree with you?
No, I don't.
Line it up from a bit of a distance out. See how precise it is.
That's good, isn't it? That? Yeah.
Bear in mind.
So the final question is, should you buy it? And as always, the answer is not a straightforward one. Where I will go with my summing up on this is that the 3-inch sub 250 genre has a lot going for it. You have a lot of freedom as to where you can fly this. You can fly this in urban and congested areas. You still need to be aware of the air navigation order if you're in the UK to not recklessly endanger an aircraft or persons. However, if you're flying cinematically through a city or a town and you've got GPS and you've got GPS rescue, one would argue that that's not flying recklessly. If only I could say the word. So this sub 250 genre with this 3-inch particular drone offers a lot. It offers you a lot of freedom. It offers you great flight performance. And another thing that I think people overestimate the benefit of is the cost of the batteries. The Aleppo 4S 660 LIHV is about a third of the price of a 6S battery. So you could potentially buy 3 Lippos for the price of 1 if you were to transition some of your quads to this particular sector. On the negative side, it can't carry a GoPro. I mean, it's got the performance. You've seen some of the earlier shots about how good the performance is, but it can't carry a GoPro and stay under 250. Although that said, if we made a few cutbacks here and there, we could probably get it just under 250 with a naked GoPro, but we'd have to make some design changes. We'd have to potentially look at changing the board to an AIO, shortening a few of the wires and taking some of the TPU off. But I'm sure we could probably do it. And the other thing is, a frame like this obviously isn't going to have the longevity to bando bash like a 5-inch does. So ultimately, it depends on the use case scenario as to what you want to do with it. In my opinion, however, if you have a 5-inch and you're looking for something a bit different, or if you have a Cinewhoop and you're looking for something a bit different, or if you have any drone that isn't a 3-inch and you're looking for something a bit different, then I cannot recommend this Newbee Drone Stingerbee highly enough to anybody out there. I've looked long and hard to find any negatives, and I genuinely can't find any. I'm not going to proclaim it as 3-inch King Quad of the Year 2024, but what I am going to say is this is one of the best 3-inches out there. It's easy to build, it's within a decent price point, can potentially with a few design changes carry a naked GoPro. It doesn't need remote ID, and it's got one of the coolest names out there. So I'll leave a link below in the description if you want to buy your own version of it. It's a non-affiliate link, so if you decide to buy one, I get nothing from you. There is no pressure on me pushing this as a positive review. However, if you do want to support the channel, I would really appreciate you considering a channel membership, which start from as little as £1.99 a month. Please don't feel obliged to do so. Everything that gets put on the channel before will be put on the channel now. The only members exclusive videos is little snippets from things like this review as I film them and put them up raw. So there are 2 clips from this particular review that the members have been able to watch already. They are only short clips, they're not polished like a review is polished. It is just something to support the channel, to help us grow, to help us bring more things into review for you guys. There is no obligation. If I haven't earned it today, that's absolutely fine, because I'll keep trying to do so on the next video. The link is below if you want to buy this Stingerbee. I cannot highly recommend it enough. This quad genuinely put a smile on my face in a sector that I really didn't think I was going to enjoy. So the link is there. Go and buy one if you want to buy one. So just before we finish this review, quick shout out to the members, Barry Morgan FPV and Jedi FPV. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. I've been Quads. You've all been absolutely amazing. Until next time, peace.